Right then, let's talk typewriters. Not just any typewriters, but the vintage ones that have stood the test of time, not those newfangled ones with screens and whatnot. No, we're talking about the real deal, the proper ones, the ones that go clunk and whir, with each keystroke resonating through the room. Vintage typewriters. They're like classic cars, full of character, built to last, and a bit oily. They have a soul, a personality that modern gadgets just can't replicate. Now, some might call it nostalgia, others are yearning for simpler times, but there's more to it than that. I just like the way they feel, the tactile feedback, the resistance of the keys, the satisfying clickety-clack of the keys. It's almost musical, a rhythm that modern keyboards lack. The weight of the machine, it feels substantial, like you're holding a piece of history. The knowledge that each letter is physically hammered onto the page. It's a commitment, a deliberate act. There's a certain romance to it, isn't there? A connection to the past, to the writers who came before us. No delete key to tempt you. Every word must be carefully considered. Every mistake a permanent reminder of your fallibility. It teaches you to be more mindful, more precise. It makes you think about the words, savor them. Each sentence becomes a deliberate creation. And let's be honest, the imperfections are part of the charm. They add character, a unique touch, like a slightly wonky grin. It's these little quirks that make each typewriter special. So, if you've got an old typewriter gathering dust in the attic, don't let it languish. Bring it back to life. There's life in the old dog yet. With a bit of care and attention, it can be as good as new. And besides, who can resist the allure of a bit of mechanical tinkering? It's a rewarding experience, bringing something old and beautiful back to its former glory. Now, before you go poking around inside your vintage typewriter with a screwdriver and a hopeful glint in your eye, let's talk about common ailments that these beautiful machines often face, because these old beasts, much like classic cars, have their quirks and unique characteristics. First up, sticky keys, a classic issue that many typewriter enthusiasts encounter. This is usually just a build-up of dust, grime, or perhaps a rogue biscuit crumb from a bygone era, lodged between the keys. A bit of gentle cleaning, using a soft brush or a can of compressed air, usually sorts that out. Next, we have sluggish carriages. This is the part that moves the paper along as you type. If your carriage is moving slowly or getting stuck, it can be quite frustrating. A drop of oil in the right place, usually on the rails or gears, can work wonders and get things moving smoothly again. Then there are the more serious issues. Broken type bars, mangled ribbons, and mysterious internal noises that sound suspiciously like a small animal trapped inside. These can be quite daunting. These might require a bit more expertise or a large hammer, depending on your level of patience and determination. But fear not, intrepid typewriter restorer. With a bit of research and the right approach, you can tackle these challenges. Most of these issues are easily addressed with a bit of patience, the right tools, and perhaps a good repair manual. And remember, every problem solved is a victory for vintage machinery everywhere and a testament to your dedication and skill. I've seen some things in my time tinkering with typewriters. Once found a love letter from 1947 jammed in the carriage of a Remington Portable. Another time, a rogue paperclip had somehow managed to wedge itself into the mechanism, causing a most disconcerting grinding noise. And then there was the case of the ghostly typewriter. It belonged to a charming elderly lady who swore it typed by itself at night. Turns out it was just a loose keycap. Still, it made for a good story. These machines, they've seen things, you see. They've heard secrets whispered, witnessed declarations of love, and probably endured countless frustrated attempts at writing the next great novel. They carry a bit of history within their metal frames, and each repair is like uncovering a tiny piece of the past. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a qualified mechanic to give your vintage typewriter a bit of TLC. A few basic tools and a bit of common sense can go a long way. First off, get yourself a good cleaning kit. A soft brush, some cotton swabs, and a can of compressed air will be your best friends. These items help you get into all the nooks and crannies where dust and grime like to hide. Next, a small screwdriver set. You never know when you'll need to tighten a loose screw or pry open a stubborn casing. It's always better to have the right tool for the job. And while you're at it, a good magnifying glass can be invaluable for examining those tiny parts. Finally, a drop or two of sewing machine oil can work wonders on stiff mechanisms. Just a little bit can make a big difference in how smoothly your typewriter operates. But remember, patience is key. Don't rush the process. Take your time, examine the problem, and resist the urge to start dismantling things willy-nilly. Unless, of course, you enjoy putting jigsaw puzzles back together, in which case, crack on. Enjoy the process and remember that each typewriter has its own quirks and personality. The more you work with them, the more you'll understand and appreciate these beautiful machines.